Hi, yeah, my name is Arthur, and there's something been on my mind I want to talk to everyone about. And I think it's important because I think everybody needs to look inside and think about this, okay? There's a lot of talk about now these days about people talked about racism in the past because they had to get out the truth. But now people are saying things like systemic racism. What does that mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to God? What does it mean for society? I looked up systemic in the dictionary, and it talked about a system where it's going through a particular purpose. It's a purpose of a system. And when people put the words together, systemic and racism, it has a connotation. And you might want to think about, or you should think about it, does it apply to every situation? So let's make some proclamations here so people don't misunderstand who I am and what I'm saying, what I'm about. Racism is wrong. Racism is against the laws of God and humanity. Racism is evil, it is dark, it is hurtful. Racism puts a weight, a pain on the souls of men. Racism is an insult to God because every race that was on this earth was created by one God. And human beings are created by God so that He would have someone to love. He can share His sacred love, grace, and goodness with. So every race is important to God because He created them from the beginning, and He creates us now. So if you are a racist, if you cannot stand another race, another human being because of their race, then you are vehemently against God. You're saying that what God has created has no worth or value. You are spitting in the face of God and His love and His heart. After everything He's done for us, even unto dying on the cross and rising up again for us. This is how He is treated? No. I reject that, and I'm telling you that it must end. Now, the idea of systemic racism to me is when some people or some group are racist completely, and everything that group does is focus on racism, is focus on hate. They come together, they talk about it, they make plans how to hurt people. They raise money or donate money or collect money or steal money. And all that money is going to do is to further racism and hurt people, to crush their souls and heart, to disrupt society. That is what I identify as systemic racism. So who can we say are like that? We can say that the Nazis were. We can say that white supremacy groups are. We can say that the Ku Klux Klan was, and the Ku Klux Klan still is. We can say that the people who were involved in the Jim Crow laws, same thing. Everything that you do, all the efforts you make, your whole purpose of an organization is racism. And plus, it makes you feel good doing something evil. Now, when people these days are saying systemic racism, you have to understand, why are they saying that? Are they your friends? Because what they're doing is proclaiming everybody in this country, every group, every business, every government, every church, or what have you, every sports team, anywhere, any group is completely racist. That means everything they do, they're claiming, is racist. That's not the truth. Is there racism in this country? Yeah. Are there racist people in those different venues, organizations, and communities and churches? And no, not everyone. Racism has invaded. And when you see it, when you know it, show it. So if you are an eyewitness to this act or this happened to you, then you want to speak up, and that's important from the view of God, that you do that you put down these acts of racism. But you can't go around claiming that everyone's a racist. You can't go around assuming that everyone's a racist. You can't call people a racist based on rumors or based on lies. If you know the truth, show it and work the problem. Okay? And when Jesus talked about something in the Bible, he talked about how to handle these things. You need to refer to that. So what do? We keep doing what we do. We find racism, and we know it's there, and we speak about it, and we begin to fix the problem. We work the problem. We work that incident. We work for those people involved in that. When you know it, show it. And then that person has to be dealt with in a proper way. And people say there's always been racism, that this country's racism was built on racism. It hasn't. It hasn't. If you want examples, I'll give you some examples. When this country was founded, there was what? There was slavery. We all know that. What happened? People talked against slavery. And they talked and they talked. They tried to teach people, try to explain to people from the beginning, black people and white people. There are white people in this country who are against slavery. They've always fought against it. They always spoke about it, up against it. They always wrote against it. They always had sermons against it or whatever. You cannot deny that. So yes, there was racism in this country, but the whole country wasn't racist. We know from the writings that when the Constitution and after this country was formed, the 13 colonies put together how we're going to create this country, how we're going to conduct ourselves. And there are a lot of people in there who were vehemently against slavery. Vehemently. Now, slavery continued, but that doesn't mean that they weren't there. That doesn't mean that they didn't speak up. They didn't win that fight, and slavery continued, and more people had slaves, but more people who were against slavery taught other people. They taught their children. They worked together to help for years and years. And more people, more and more white people, and non-black people were against slavery, and then they fought. And it came down to words were not working. And we had a civil war. And so if everybody in America was a racist, we would not have a civil war. The people who on the northern side fought against slavery, they were white mostly, and then they were against slavery, and they put their life on the line, and they bled and they died on American soil. And some of them just had to crawl away with one limb missing and shattered lives. And the war was won, slavery was ended. But you got to remember that white people fought for you. So I'm not saying worship white people. I'm saying that you're not alone. That you have people out there who are not racist. In the civil rights movement in the 60s, people stood up Their heads held high, as you know, and they spoke out against racism. And there are white people there too. And there are white people who spoke and wrote to Congress and made and forced people to open their eyes and hearts and fix things. And we had a little progress, didn't we? Yeah, we did that without riots. So our government is not systemically racist. Our nation has never been completely racist. And to do so harms you and your cause. Because the victims of racism think that there is nothing that can be done. They have no hope. If you tell them that everybody in this country is racist except black people, how are we going to accomplish anything? There are people out there who are not racist, who've never been racist. Their whole family line has not been racist. You have to continue or establish an alliance with people you know who are with you, who are willing to help, and then you have to put a plan in place, and then you will end it significantly. Okay? You are not the only one. You have Latinos, Asians, Jewish, people of Jewish faith. They all know about this hate. They're all there. They're all against it. We have to unite and build a coalition of love and brotherhood and significantly do this. It's not impossible. Why do we want to do this? Because it's a good thing. So if you want to do a good thing, who are you going to get to help you? God will help you. God will help you. And when God helps you, everything is going to work out. When God helps you to do something good, when you do something good for God, for humanity, for all of His children, you will have victory. You will have success. Because we already have the victory in His resurrection, and we have the victory of His love. How can we fail? I'll tell you how we can fail. If we don't try, you fail. If you don't fight against evil, you fail. A couple of things that you have to sit and think about. One, never let evil win. Never. Never. Two, good is greater than evil. It always has been, and it always will be. And three, you will never win the war if you do not know who your enemy is. I learned that from God. You will never win the war unless you know who your enemy is. Your enemy is Satan. That's who your enemy is. Unite with those of a like mind and like heart who want to do good things and fight against evil. Your greatness will be shown throughout the world, throughout all history. Therefore, go forth and do great things.